Okay, in this video it's going to look a lot the same as the last assignment, but now you have to actually solve a problem here. Okay, a hawk is at a height of 2,600 feet. After every second he descends toward the ground at an average rate of 30 feet per second. What will the hawk's height be after 10 seconds? Now, I know some of you right now are thinking that's easy. You just take 30 times 10 and then subtract that from 2,600. Duh. No crap. Genius. However, as the problems in this class get more complex, you do need to write equations. So I want you to do it the way I'm doing it in the assignment, okay? Because as the problems get more complex, then they'll be that much easier, okay, to solve. Solving story problems is all about being able to develop a plan if you're not sure where to go with it, okay? And I know on this one I don't really need a plan. I can just take 30 times 10, subtract it from 2,600. Okay, so all this seems like a little bit of busy work. But the whole point of it is as the problems get harder, knowing how to do this will help you. So I want this done, okay? So getting the answer is second in importance to being able to show the work here. So my answer, I want to find out his height after 10 seconds. So my label and the answer is feet. We're going to put our answer down here. So what are the two labels I have underlined? I have feet and I have seconds. Okay, so remember the time unit is our X. So seconds is X and then feet's Y. And then you put your Y label on top and your X label on bottom. So feet per second. Well, that's easy. I know that is 30, okay? He is descending, so that would be negative 30 because he's traveling downward from his initial height. Okay, so I have this line set up for you. And we know that we have negative 30 feet per second, so that's your rate of change. M is the rate of change. You just replace that letter with our rate of change, so negative 30. Now, prior to the 30 feet per second, before any seconds had passed, when 0 seconds have passed, what is the hawk's height? 2,600 feet. So we put 2,600. So you can write your equation. You started at 2,600 feet. And then the operations to add, and we'd add negative 30. But because that happens every second, we need X, then equals Y. Okay, now that was where we left off on the last assignment. Now, I want you to circle that 10 seconds. 10 seconds is what is known as your replacement value, okay? One of these variables is replaced with 10 seconds, but which one? Well, the label's seconds. So seconds is X, so we're going to replace X. So let's replace the X with 10. So I have 2,600 plus negative 30, and then with your replacement you want to put a parentheses and put the number 10, and then equals Y. Okay. Now it's simply order of operations. Okay. Parentheses, you just have a 10. Okay, so know your operators. Between here and here's a plus sign, 2,600 and negative 30. And between negative 30 and 10 there's no sign, so that's a times operator. So we need to do the times first, okay? So negative 30 times 10 is negative 300, okay? So I find that product. So I have 2,600, a plus operator, and negative 30 times 10 is negative 300. Okay, and then between these, that's an adding operator. Use your calculator because the number line doesn't go that high. Negative 26 plus negative 300 would be 2,300. Okay, and that is my answer. Feet is 2,300. Okay, example 2. Water's level of a swimming pool is 3.3 feet and evaporates at a rate of negative 0.14 feet per day due to water evaporation. What will the water level's height be after 4 days? So the two labels are feet and days. So the time is equal to x here. Okay. So days is the time, so that's x, and feet would be y. So per feet per day. Okay, the feet, oh, by the way, okay, so per, you always put the y label on top, the x label on bottom, and the feet per day is negative 0.14. Okay, so let's look at my line graph. The line kind of tells a story. So get this m out of here because we know that that is negative 0.14. And prior to the negative 0.14, at 0 days, we had 3.3 feet. That's the initial height, so 3.3. Now you can write your equation. 3.3 plus negative 0.14x equals y. Okay, the replacement value is the 4 days. So 4 days. Now, go look at your days label. That's x again. Okay, they're all x today. So circle the variable and replace it. 3.3 plus negative 0.14, parentheses, and you're going to put 4 in for that. And then the equals y. Okay, so know your operators. Between 3.3 and negative 0.14 is an addition operator. Between negative 0.14 and 4, we don't have an operator, so that means we need a times operator. Okay, times comes first, so we want to find that product. So negative 0.14 times 4, negative 0.56. So I have 3.3. I have my plus operator, and negative 0.56 equals y. Then it's a plus operator, and these are like terms. You don't see any letters on either one of these behind them. Okay, so we go ahead and add. So 3.3 plus negative 0.56. That is 2.74. So 2.74 equals y. Okay, example 3. You have $600 in your bank account. You take money out of the account at an average rate of $30 per month. How much money will be in your account after 10 months? Okay, so the 2 units I have underlined are dollars and months. Okay, so again, the time unit is the x unit. That's x and that's y. So per, put your y label on top and your x label on the bottom. So the dollars per month is 30, but you're spending it from your initial amount, so it needs to be negative. Okay, so over here, replace your m with the negative 30. Negative 30 times x, that means x is your months. And prior to your 30, you had 600, so you need to put a 600 under the y. What that means is at 0 months, I have $600. So write your equation. You have 600 plus negative 30x equals y. Okay, now there's a replacement value of 10 months. That means months goes in for which letter? Well, months is x, so it's going to go in for x. Okay. So I have 600 plus negative 30. And we want to put a parenthesis so I can separate the negative 30 from the x. That's 10 equals y. Okay, know your operators. Between 600 and negative 30 is a plus operator. Between negative 30 and 10, there's no operator, so that's a times. The times comes first. Okay. So I take negative 30 times 10. It's a negative times a positive, so it should be a negative product. And it's negative 300. So I have 600, the adding operator, and that's negative 300 equals y. And then the adding operation, these are like terms. This doesn't have a letter behind it, and neither does this. There's no letter. Okay. So I add them. 600 plus negative 300. kind of think about that. I mean, you can use your calculator, but if you're all the way at 600, you know, out here, you're adding a negative, so you'd move this way. Well, that would take you to 300, positive. You'd still be in the positives, but you'd be at positive, a lesser positive of 300. So 300 equals y. So the money we have is 300. Okay, example 4. Camp registration. A camp charges a registration of $50 along with a $20 per night a person camps. How much will a camper owe if they camp for 4 nights? So we have the dollars and the nights. Remember, time equals X. Well, time would be the nights. That would be Y. So per. Dollars per night. Okay, the dollars per night I know is 20. So we know that the rate of change is 20. And is it positive or negative? That's a good question. Well, we're keeping track of our money. So they charge a registration of $50 and then they add on $20 per night. So that's going to be a positive because they just add it on. Okay, so that stays positive 20 and then we have 50 right here. If you're not sure whether that's a positive or negative, come talk to me and we'll discuss it. All right, so I have my beginning of 50 plus 20x equals y. Okay. And then 4 nights, that's going to be our replacement value, 4 nights. And since it's nights, nights is x, so we are replacing the x with 4. So 50 plus 20. Separate the 20 and 4 with the parentheses, otherwise it's going to look like 204. And now to solve the problem, know your operator. Okay? Between here and here's a plus. Between here and here's a times. You want to do the times first. Times always comes before addition. Okay, the product of 20 and 4 is 80. So I have 50, my adding operator, and 20 times 4 is 80. Okay, and these are like terms, so we can go ahead and add those. This is not NLT, no letters, but out of these two. The only letters over here. So 50 plus 80 is 130, and that's Y. So the cost is 130.